Hello, Bob Riedfeld here, preaching and teaching minister of the Spring Hill Christian Church of rural Ocklawackney, Georgia. And welcome to another lesson in understanding the Old Testament or survey of the Old Testament. We just finished talking about the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Bible or the books of Moses. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. And we're about to attempt to do an overview, brief introduction of the book of Joshua. The author of Joshua is Joshua and Phineas, chapter 24, verse 33. That's Jewish tradition, and that's the internal claim from the book itself in chapter 24, verse 26. The name, meaning of the name Joshua is Jehovah is salvation. The Hebrew word is Hoshea. Moses changed his name to Jehoshua, later developed into Joshua. The Greek name is Jesus. The key verse is Joshua chapter 1, verse 8. Meditate in God's law day and night to be prosperous. And the key word is success and prosperity, with the concept, again, success and prosperity. War, possession, and prosperity, refuge given by God, a basis of economic stability. The date that it was written is 1375 BC. It was before the time of David, as we see in chapter 15, verse 63, and it was while Rahab lived in chapter 6, verse 25. The period of time that it covers, the death of Moses to the death of Joshua, about 26 years. And the purpose is historical narrative covering the conquest and the possession of the promised land. Reveals God and his plans for his people. The historical setting, the Israelites settled in the promised land, needed to record these events for posterity. And the recipients to the book of Joshua is the Israelites. The man himself, he's the son of Nun. N-U-N in chapter 1, verse 1. He's from the tribe of Ephraim, Numbers 13:8. He's first mentioned in the Bible in Exodus chapter 17, and he's prominent thereafter as Moses' army captain. He was with Moses on Mount Sinai. Exodus 32:17 tells us, and also Aaron, Exodus 19:24. He was one of the 12 spies in Numbers 11. He led Israel across the Jordan, and he directed the division and settlement of the Promised Land. The book of Joshua relates to Pentateuch like Acts does to the Gospels. It's a very aggressive book of conquest and expansion. Is in the prophet section of the Hebrew Old Testament. The Hebrew Old Testament has 3 sections: the law, the Pentateuch, the prophets, the former prophets, Joshua, Judges, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings, and then the latter prophets, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, and the 12, and then the section of the writing, Psalms, Job, Proverbs, Ruth, Song of Solomon, Ecclesiastes, Lamentation, Esther, Daniel, Ezra, and Nehemiah, 1st and 2nd Chronicles. So why do we need to know about Joshua? What's so important about that? It records fulfillment of God's promise to Abraham. It records how God helped Israel to victory in critical times. It reveals God's own righteousness and his standards for those who follow him. The contents, 3 basic divisions of the book of Joshua. Chapters 1 through 12 are the conquest of Canaan. Chapters 13 through 22 are division and settlement of Canaan. And chapters 23 and 24 are Joshua's farewell. You can look at a map of how the land was divided in a position of heathen who inhabited Canaan, inhabitants of promised land whom Israelites were to drive out. Were the Canaanites, the Philistines, the Jebusites, the Perizzites, the Kenites, the Amorites, the Hivites, the Hittites, the Sidonians, the Amalekites, the Midianites, Ammonites, Moabites, Edomites. A lot of ites there. The Kenites and Amalekites are the only ones with a clear reference to other Bible people. All of the tribes received land except the Levites, who were to be scattered throughout the land because they were the priests. They were given 48 cities with surrounding fields. There were 6 cities in the land, which were cities of refuge. Kadesh was the city. The tribe was Naphtali. Shechem was the city. Manasseh was the tribe. Hebron was the city. Judah was the tribe. Bezer was the city. Reuben was the tribe. Gilead was the city. Gad was the tribe. Golan was the city. And Manasseh was the tribe. Each tribe had to subdue their own inheritance. Some succeeded and others did not. Dan could not oust the Philistines. Dan migrated a small area in the far north. Manasseh had lots of difficulty. Judah never got Jerusalem until the time of King David. Some of the lessons that we can learn from Joshua: pay attention to the book, chapter 1:8. In times past, before Joshua, God spoke in dreams and visions or by angels, and now Joshua tells Israel to listen to God in the Pentateuch. Keep on working and living for God despite loss of key leaders like Moses. It talks about the deadliness of sin, including what individual sin does to the group. Lessons we learn: need for obedience in order to accomplish God's work. You have to choose for God or against Him. God can use you to accomplish anything He wants to do. Joshua was successful for his faith and obedience, but it wouldn't help others, which we need. We each need faith and obedience. Validity of war for a child of God. Some say, what about rights of the invaded Canaanites? Deuteronomy 9:4 says, it is because of the wickedness of these nations that the Lord is driving them out before you. Drastic surgery required when dealing with some things that can and will destroy a person, either physically or spiritual. People were wicked. Land had to be cleared so God could show the world how holy people lived. Israel didn't destroy the nations. God did. God destroyed them because of their wickedness and not Israel's righteousness, Deuteronomy 9:5. So they would not turn children from God, Deuteronomy 7:4, because we are to be a holy people to the Lord, Deuteronomy 7:6. So that's just kind of an overview and the lessons that we can learn from the book of Joshua. I would encourage you to read that on your own and do a little bit more in-depth study of the book of Joshua and study it alongside the Pentateuch as well, because it refers back to a lot of those things. I hope you have enjoyed this as much as I have enjoyed giving it to you, and I hope it motivates you to study the book of Joshua. May God bless you and have a great rest of the day.